Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of On the Couch with Creatives. I'm in the UK, so I say good morning, but good afternoon or good evening if you're anywhere else in the world. I'm Melanie Perry.
I'm Julie Hyde-Mew.
And this is On the Couch with Creatives. Fans of the show, of course, will know that this is part of the Creatives Network, the professional networking group for creative professionals in any type of creative industry across the globe. We help you to grow, develop, connect, create together and grow your creative business. But as I say, this is On the Couch. So Julie, who is on the couch today?
MOMODOU GAJga, and he's a news presenter and a sports anchor on QTV Gambia. He has over a decade of experience in journalism, in print, online and TV. And he's on the couch this morning, so bring him in, Melanie. Good day to you, MOMODOU.
Well, good day and good morning from the Gambia.
Well, thank you for joining us on the couch. Now, I want to kick off with asking you how you got into journalism and how you eventually landed up in the front of the cameras.
Well, quite an interesting journey. This was way back in 1995, I would have to say, because my dad is somebody who listens to the news very much every time. I would say it's kind of a routine that he adopted long time ago. So from my dad, I picked up interest in listening to news, radio precisely back then. And the BBC World Service program called Focus on Africa talks about current affairs in Africa, is one of the favorite programs that he listens to. So from there also, I went to school at the age of 6, Sokoto Primary School. So I found interest in listening to radio, even though by then I don't understand a word of English. So a little later, when I begin to learn about English and begin to learn about words and pronunciation and things of that nature. So I keep asking him the question, why do you always have your radio transistor close to your ears and then you're listening to news? Well, what interest do you get from it? He said, yes, news listening basically tells you about what is happening around you, what is happening around the world. And when it comes to your government, the journalists are the ones who keep governments in check. You definitely know how your country is being run, by who and what plans they have for you. And, is the future bright for you and things like that. So that's how it evolved. And then once I go into school, all my interest was I want to become a journalist. And I've walked through it after high school. Even during my high school, I was being invited to some radio programs. So I go in there and, contribute. I actually started as a contributor. I'll send text messages if there are programs on national radio and even private radio. I'll send SMS text messages. And then from there, one day I was invited and I had a platform to talk about, how I feel about Gambian sports. And that's how it kicked on. And then after my high school, then I freelanced for one of the local newspapers. And then from that freelancing, got into radio. And then I got a specialization when it comes to sports reporting. That's my area of specialization. But generally, as a journalist, you do general news reporting. You report about education, politics, science, music, if you like, arts. Yeah, and all of that.
You become a jack of all trades, don't you?
Yes, jack of all trades, because if you're sent to the field, your editor sometimes would, even if you're a sports journalist, you say, you know what, there's a political event somewhere, go and cover it. Or there's something about the sciences, go and cover it. You dare not to say no. Obviously, you're a journalist all-rounder. But there is something that you're passionate about. You want to specialize in a specific area of journalism, which is sports. So I've been like a sports journalist since 2010. All the way down. I did first newspaper, that's print, and then later radio, and now television.
It's funny how news anchors invariably have that history where they start off in print or radio, and then they they get promoted to television. It just seems to be like a path, a career path that a lot of news anchors take. And you certainly did.
Yes, definitely.
And then which medium do you enjoy the most? Print, radio, or television?
Oh, it's a difficult one to pick, but I would say I enjoy television now. So that's my current medium. That's the media that I work for. So I enjoy television.
So do you present the news and you present sports programs?
Yes, I present the news twice a week and sports program once a week. That has been my routine for, I would say, the last 5 years.
Isn't it amazing how various journalists become presenters or anchors, and they always seem to have a passion? With me, my passion was, of course, like you, I started off in general news, and then my passion became environmental affairs and wildlife conservation. So what made you such a sports fan that is your speciality?
Sports has always been part of me. I could remember my dad used to punish me because sometimes, even when I closed from school, instead of attending my study classes, I was little then, and then he would say, "You're following this football thing. I think you should just concentrate on your education, go and read your books, have time to study." But I would always find a way out to go and watch football, follow footballers, local football, international football on television. So that has a kind of sink in me. So I said, if I'm going to be a practicing journalist, why not specialize in sports? So I love sports. I've started being a fan and then later become a sports journalist.
And what sports do you actually cover? Is it the whole spectrum, or have you specific sports that you cover?
Football is the most popular sport in the world, as you would know, but I cover all sports. Every sport that is played in the Gambia, if I know about their event and I'm interested and I think it is going to interest my audience, yes, I would cover it. But mainly, I cover football because it's the most popular sport. But even the lesser known sports, I still cover them.
What, like table tennis?
Table tennis is in Gambia. Let's say handball is in Gambia, and also volleyball, beach volleyball, basketball, athletics, of course, is very popular in Gambia, aside from football. So those are mainly the sports that I would cover, because there are others like rugby. I've never seen a rugby match in the Gambia, even if it is existing. It's yet to get to my attention for now. But also cricket, not so much a popular sport, but there are some Gambians who play cricket, so I cover cricket as well.
I was going to ask you about cricket, if it's big in Gambia, and you say no.
No, it's not a big sport in Gambia. I understand from my research it used to in the late 70s to the early 80s, because it was I would say, a foreign sport. It was brought in here by some Indians who started coming to Gambia for business. So they introduced Gambians to cricket. Back then, it was popular, according to what I understand from sports history in Gambia.
MOMODOU,
So
are there any obscure traditional tribal sports in the Gambia? Like in Britain, we have some very ancient, old, weird and wonderful sports that are actually still played today. Have you come across in your journalism any obscure sports that aren't really in the mainstream, but that are interesting?
Very interesting is wrestling. The wrestling style is completely different from everyone else, how they do it. I watch the wrestling in the Olympic Games. It's completely different from how we do it traditionally. Yes, it was organized by tribesmen who would pit each other to kind of a fight, but you have to wrestle your opponent down. So it's very big. I would say there's a lot of fanfare and it attracts a huge crowd. People will come out in their hundreds to come and watch it. So it also even, I would say traditionally, it promotes culture. And I would say when it comes to superstition, so people believe when you practice a certain particular sports, for you to be a winner, you have to apply some spiritual liquid on your body. So in that, it will help you to defeat your opponent. So all those are kind of superstitious beliefs that people have. So it makes the sport very popular. It goes with music, drumming, dancing, and all of that. So wrestling is very, very popular in Gambia. The type of wrestling here is very popular.
You find that in many cultures around the world where you try and get an advantage over your opponent. Look at the New Zealanders, the Kiwis, with the haka at the beginning of their rugby games, and they, it's meant to intimidate your opponent. What about stick fighting? Because I come from South Africa, and stick fighting is very popular.
Well,
do you have that in the Gambia?
Stick fighting, no, I've never heard of that before.
Okay,
never heard of that before.
So wrestling is the big one.
For the first time. Yeah, the wrestling is the big one. It's a big traditional sport.
MOMODOU, your father obviously had a huge impact on your life. He was a news hound, obviously highly educated. So tell us about that, just how much your father influenced you.
Well, my father has really helped me. I would say when I started going to school, learning about English, he would help me in pronunciation, how words would sound. Because I would say when I started school newly, we don't do much of phonetics. You basically see English words, how they're written, that's how you pronounce them. But he gradually helped me. If I mispronounce a word, he would say to me, no, that's not the way to pronounce it. This is how to pronounce the word. So that has really helped me. People say my accent is different. Have I ever lived in Britain, or maybe if I had ever been in the United States of America? I said no. Basically, I just learned words. I learned how phonetics work. So that's how I learned English. And when it comes to speaking up and being confident, having that composure, so my father really plays a key role, and he really motivated me, encouraged me very well to say, I would say big credit to him when it comes to my journalism career. He really supported me.
And you present in English, do you?
Yes, I present in English. All my programs are in English, both the sports and also the news, nightly news that I present on QTV.
You have a lovely voice, MOMODOU. I could listen to you all day.
Wow, thank you very much. I appreciate
it. Are you a big star in Gambia?
Well, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but to be honest with you, yes. I am many people's pick. I don't know if that would sound right. I would say in 2019, I was not voted, but I got into a competition where you send your stories and they look at it, a panel of judges. It's organized by the Gambia Press Union. It's called the National Journalism Awards. And I was voted as the best sports reporter 2019. So I got that award. I'm an award-winning journalist. It is something that I don't talk about much because sometimes I think, okay, people watch you and listen to you. They think you're doing very well. And they can kind of praise you, or if they love what you are doing, they can say, oh, you're the best in this, or you're my favorite, something like that. So I don't kind of talk much about it. I want people to basically say whatever that they want to say. If they like what I'm doing, or they think I am kind of at a certain level, or I am the best in a certain field of reporting, maybe sports, yeah, they can say that. So, but I'm an award-winning journalist. 2019, I was Gambia's best sports reporter in the Gambia Press Union's National Journalism Awards.
Fantastic.
Well, obviously, you need to blow your trumpet now and again, but obviously as well, you're a very humble man, and luckily not a big head, because there's nothing worse than somebody going on television and becoming big-headed, because you sort of lose your the person that you are, really.
Yes, definitely. So that has never been part of me. I always keep it cool. I think as a journalist, you don't need people to tell you that you're the best. You're just doing a job, just like a regular job, like everybody else. So I never put those kind of things in my head that I'm at a certain level. I always keep it cool and do my job to the best of my ability. And I always make sure whenever I am reporting, it stand out. If it is a report, if it is a presentation, I'll do my best to prepare very well for it, and I will present it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, that's all you can do, isn't it?
Yeah, in any job. And if you're passionate about the job.
Yes, most definitely. So I would say I'm driven by passion from day one, because most people think, oh, journalists, because they're on television or they're on radio or print, they get a lot of money. They get paid very well. So they have the opportunity to travel around the world. So they think it's a kind of a lucrative job that pays very well. But I think most journalists are being driven by passion.
We, when I was in South Africa and I was a journalist on radio and television and also anchoring the news, you get paid well, but you don't get the millions unless you're a huge star somewhere, like Fox News in the USA. They pay their presenters and their anchors millions. I would have loved that. So what are your top 3 tips for aspiring journalists, people who look at you and see you as somebody to emulate and have a lot of respect for? What are your top 3 tips when it comes to young people getting into journalism and getting into news presentation?
I would say hard work, belief, and passion. These 3 have been the motivation, the driving factor for me, and the catalyst that has pushed me to this level today. That is hard work, belief, and passion. I had always believed I would become a journalist. I worked for it, and I've always been passionate about the job.
And I think you actually touched on one earlier in the discussion when you said that as you were kind of starting through your journey, you became a contributor first. And I think the media is so heavy. Everybody wants to get into the media. And I think a really good tip for youngsters is to try and contribute, put yourself on the radar of, even if it's just your local radio station, so you can get that invitation into the studio, get talking about things, and once they know that you're studying journalism and things like that, then it can progress on and maybe you'll get a regular slot, because there are opportunities like that, especially in radio. And as you say, then you can go from radio to television, and the sky's the limit.
Yes, definitely. I would say for everyone in any profession, you have to start somewhere. So the start for me was basically I was a regular contributor through text messages and even phone-in programs. I would call in and contribute to shows, let's say, current affairs. I would also voice my opinion. And I started off as a very shy person, but this evolved, and now I can speak with confidence. I speak like I can conduct interviews like the one I am doing right now. But let's say 15 years ago, I cannot even speak to 3-4 people. I would see them as intimidating. I'm speaking to a public. I'm kind of speaking to a big audience. But that has changed. Journalism has pushed me to say, you know what, you can do it. I never doubted myself. So I think that's a good start. Like having regular contributions, participating, and maybe if there are big events and you think you can contribute, maybe somebody somewhere, if it is radio, they may hear your voice. And if you're interested in becoming a journalist or a news anchor or somebody who wants to work on radio, I think that could be a very good start for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're at that stage of our interview now. MOMODOU, I don't know if you've seen any of our shows before, but we play a little game, a little values jam game, so that our viewers can get to know you just a little bit better. So I have some cards here. I'm not going to go into my usual raptures. I'll try not to. They're very silky, lovely cards, and I love them. They're stress busters. They're stress busters. I love shuffling these cards because they're just so tactile. But I'm going to just spread them out, and I'll run my finger along. Hopefully you'll be able to see. Then you can
Yeah.
tell me to stop when I hit a particular card, and we'll discuss the value creatively and what's on that card. You see me? Ooh.
Okay. Looks nice. Looks nice.
He's disappearing along with the cards.
Sorry.
Definitely.
Oh, see. I'll keep disappearing. Sorry. There you go.
There you go. Don't move now. Oh, wait. No, they've disappeared again. Every time you move your hand. Okay. Say stop when you feel. When you feel it, MOMODOU, say stop.
Okay. Okay, stop.
Stop. Okay. Right, what have we got? Oh, we have got recognition.
Yes.
Wow.
Recognition.
You were just talking about that, about getting recognition, starting off from just contributing as an audience, member of the audience. Oh, well.
Absolutely. Okay, so as this is a creative show, we're going to ask you creatively about recognition. So, MOMODOU, what does recognition mean to you? What does it look, feel, and sound like?
Yeah, for me, recognition is very, very big because I think, like when I said I started off as being a regular contributor on radio, that's where someone spotted me. It was kind of a brother who invited me to radio, Vicente Gomez, say, "You have a very good voice. Are you interested in becoming a journalist?" I said, "Yes, I've always been interested in being a journalist." He said, "Well, I could invite you on a sports show on radio. So you can come and then we will give you a script to read before you go on air." Obviously, you started at the recording studio. So pre-program, he looked at my reading, my pace, and how I do it. So basically, that's where it started. So I would say my talent or what I do is being spotted by somebody, and it is through recognition. So I would say definitely this word really would connect to me very well.
What do you think it feels like? What does recognition feel like to you?
Sorry, I didn't get that part.
What does recognition feel like to you?
It feels great because as a presenter, as somebody who is easily recognizable because of my job as a television presenter, if I go out, people love what I do, and I'm like a small celebrity. I don't want to say it, but yeah, they want to have selfies with me. Some think, I'm a certain David Beckham, Usain Bolt, Cristiano Ronaldo, or Lionel Messi, all these big sports stars. That's how they see me. I don't see myself that way, but basically, I think the recognition really feels good if you're level-headed and you just keep it cool.
Yeah.
But it connects you, as you said, it connects you to people. The fact that they can recognize you or do recognize you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it connects you to people. I would say the reason why we're all doing what we do is because of the people, somehow, some way. If there are no audience, obviously, there is no point in being on radio or television. So it's because there are people who are listening to you, there are people who are watching you. That's why you're doing what you do. So I think that connection has been there, and through recognition, it bonds you together.
Absolutely. And sport is fantastic for bonding people together. It really is. I'm very passionate about, getting children into sport. I had my own sports show, Nothing in Your League, on the radio a few years back on a local radio station. And for me, it has been just an absolute delight speaking to you this morning. So on that note, we really have run out of time and we need to go. But MOMODOU, thank you so much for being our guest today.
Well, appreciate it. But just before I sign out, can I say something?
Of course.
Sports has taken me to places. I've been to 8 countries because of my job as a sports journalist. As recent as July last year, I was in England for the first time in my life. For the first time in Europe, I covered the Birmingham Commonwealth Games for 2
wow.
weeks, and it's been absolute fun. And that's thanks to sports, and that's thanks to journalism. So it's a big pleasure.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you're ever back in the UK, please look us up and we'll have to get together. It would be lovely to meet you in person if you ever come back here.
Most definitely. I think I will come back because I love it in Birmingham. And I'm a big Manchester United fan. That's why I traveled all the way to Manchester. I went to Old Trafford and did a tour at the Manchester United Stadium, Old Trafford. So I have the pictures and videos and all of that. So it still feels good. So whenever I come back to England, I would try in as much as possible to get connected to you guys, and we will see.
That would be lovely. That would be lovely.
And thank you for coming on the couch today, MOMODOU. Thanks for your time. And it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely. Likewise. So I'm pleased to be accorded this platform and this opportunity to talk about my experience and also my journey in journalism. Thank you.
Oh, it's been wonderful. And on that note, we really must say goodbye. So until next time, we'll see you.